Nelifer, in the Telegraph, OK, here we go.
Yes.
This is about, there's an attack by, criticism by us of Benjamin Netanyahu.
And not just us, the United States. If there was ever a special relationship between two nations, the United States of America and the State of Israel would probably be the most special.
But let's before you go on, let me just say, because I want to play this clip, Grant Shapps is our Defence Secretary. This is what he said.
I think it's very disappointing that Benjamin Netanyahu has said that. It's not in some senses a surprise. He's spent his entire political career against a two-state solution. But the point is, which other routes is there to seriously resolve this? Palestinians deserve a sovereign state. Israel deserves to have the full ability to defend itself, its own security, in other words. And unless you pursue a two-state solution, I really don't see that there is another solution.
Right, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make sure we got his word. So he's sounding quite statesmanlike there, isn't he, Shapps?
Well, good for him. Grant Shapps is. But the Defence Secretary went on to say, and I think this is the key, Jeremy, that he said, quote, there isn't another option. The whole world has agreed that a two-state solution is the best way forward. So it isn't just the UK. It isn't just Biden's administration. It's the whole world. The Arab states have come up with their own strategy to a two-state solution. The question is, what do the Israeli people want? Because the Israeli government is definitely not up.
Well, the Israeli government's elected, so we've got to assume that's an expression of what the Israeli people want.
They've had 5 elections in 2 years, I believe, so it's a rainbow coalition.
What do you think, James? Because the problem with the two-state solution is that post-October the 7th, I can't see how the security issues work for Israel.
You see, that's the biggest concern, I suppose. And the thing is that when you look at Israel's objection, and I have to say I don't agree with their objection to the two-state solution, because whatever compromise you have to come up with, it is going to be a compromise. But security has never been addressed, and security when it comes to dealing with Israel's borders. Because if you are dealing with a huge constituent of people who do not recognise that Israel should exist and do not recognise that Jewish people should exist, then that is going to be the core of an issue as far as Israel is concerned in terms of its future security. So until or unless one can address that. So yes, I agree actually with Grant Shapps saying the two-state solution is the best. However, you have to hand in hand with that deal with the security issue.
It's not until and unless. It is with and concurrently. This is the issue up for debate. It isn't that a two-state solution is going to be the final kind of like place to get to. The point is no conversation is being had between the Israeli government of today and the rest of the world. And one more important point, the EU has come out to say that this is, these are not the right circumstances to find a solution. The United Nations has. Israel is at risk of isolating herself.
Well, they are, but then on the other hand, one has to look at why they're not necessarily able to garner.
But if the rest of the world is saying you're not doing this in a useful way, you're not looking at this in a useful way, and Mr. Netanyahu said, quote, I must retain security control over Gaza. Well, look at what the US have done in Afghanistan and Iraq. Look at what Britain has done. Being on the ground in territories like this does not bring your country safety.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I can't help thinking that whatever anyone wants, that the two-state solution has moved further away as a result.
I think it probably has.
It just has.
Because, and I agree that the world is saying this because the world wants peace. But if you are Israel, you have to understand, in a sense, because the world wanted peace, the problems of October the 7th and therefore and afterwards then existed, because huge amounts of money were being pumped into look after Palestinians and various other things, and nobody was able to deal and make sure that that money was being spent on the right things. So you can understand Israel's hesitation at this, but if the world is not prepared to be more bold with how they're going to deal with the likes of Hamas going forward, and if, for example, organisations even here can't be prepared to call Hamas the terrorist organisation that it is, then we're going to have a problem.
I've got a story.